The first season of Taylor Sheridan's newest series just came to a wild close. So, how does it stack up against the rest of his original library? Well, it's decent. It definitely could have been better. I'll tell you one thing though, it's miles ahead of whatever that Yellowstone ending was. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new. Check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into Landman Season 1. Listen, I am a fan of Taylor Sheridan. Sicario is one of my favorite movies ever made, and along with Hell or High Water and Wind River, it makes a trilogy of three of the best modern westerns in the past 20 years. I'm also a big fan of his television series. Despite how Yellowstone came to a close, those films were epic. The two prequel series, 1883 and 1923, are even better, in my opinion. Lioness is a fantastic covert CIA drama, and even Mayor of Kingstown, despite its narrative issues, has a lot to love. That being said, some of his recent projects have lost me. I don't enjoy Tulsa King really at all. I'm not sure if that show even knows what it's supposed to be or even trying to be anymore. And as I said, the last two seasons of Yellowstone were just disappointing schlock. This leads me to Landman, a show that has so much potential to be great, and yet there are things contained within this narrative that hold it back from ever achieving those highs. Let's get the good out of the way first. Like most every Taylor Sheridan helmed story, the performances across the board are fantastic. The standouts being Thornton, Ham, Jacob Laughlin, who plays Thornton's son in the series, Cooper Norris, and Paulina Chavez. Thornton and Ham especially are so goddamn good in this show. And listen, Thornton is basically channeling Bad Santa, but with more heart. He gets big moments to shine, like in his multiple confrontations with the cartel, where the best aspects of his acting abilities get to be put on display. He gets to exude his wit, confidence, and his signature snappy yet abrasive nature in which he espouses his dialogue. I love Tommy. He's your classic everyman, an oil landman who once took a risk and lost everything. He's just doing what he knows to get by and provide for his family. Just constantly having to put up with everyone's bullshit. I love his attitude, just so fed up with everyone and everything around him, and doesn't give a shit about anyone's opinions, and despite how hurtful he can be at times, he's always bluntly honest. He's a badass. He speaks to his boss and his employees, and the cartel and everyone else who threatens him the way that everyone in America wishes they could speak to people. Ham as Tommy's friend and boss, Monty, is also great. He plays this character very much in the vein of Don Draper. He's a savvy, intelligent, and ruthless businessman. I love seeing him play characters like this, and I hope he comes back if there are more seasons, but it's hard to say because he may have died at the end of season 1. I'm not actually sure what happened. It sort of looked like he went into cardiac arrest after surgery and his wife and kids were crying. But also, there was no sound. It was just the score playing over top, so you have really no idea if he died, if he got resuscitated. It's sort of a cliffhanger. I didn't know who either Jacob Laughlin or Paulina Chavez were before diving into this series, but they're both fantastic. Laughlin plays Tommy's son who yearns to follow his father's footsteps and enter into the oil business. After a few setbacks, he vows to start his own oil company. But in this business that's run by giant corporations that set precedents to cut corners to conserve profit and put their employees' lives in danger, he strives to create one that does the opposite of that. To run an operation that not only produces a quality product, but also protects its employees and treats its partners with respect. Chavez plays Cooper's love interest, and it's pretty complicated. She is the widow of his coworker who died in a rig explosion on his first day. Their relationship is one of my favorite aspects of the show. Just seeing them try to navigate this precarious situation with everyone around them, warning them about the repercussions, is fascinating. And Chavez's performance is captivating. She eloquently displays such a wide range of emotions with such ease. You can imagine how tense, confusing, and frustrating a circumstance like this could be, and she shows you all of that. Now, the base narrative of this show is extremely interesting. Tommy is a landman. He is the guy who works under the wealthy CEO who does all of the dirty work that no one else wants to do. He deals with unruly employees, negotiates land deals, and even has to work out agreements with the cartels so they can both utilize the land for their own benefit and stay out of each other's way. And when the series focuses on this, and just the oil business in general, it shines. In fact, I would go so far as to say that these portions of this series are some of Sheridan's best work. It's all very engaging and captivating. Working in oil is dangerous, not just for the fact that rigs can explode, people die, but also because of all the other outside factors that any normal American doesn't really think about. There are so many tense situations that Tommy, Cooper, and other characters get themselves in that are just so engrossing. Not to mention that the products created from this business are things that every one of us utilize on a daily basis. Almost none of us would be able to tell you how it works. It's cool that we sort of get this inside look into how it does. My issue with the narrative and the show as a whole is that it is very unfocused at multiple points throughout its runtime. Whenever the focus moves from Tommy in the oil storyline to his wife Angela and his daughter Ainsley's, it loses me. Their narratives just are not interesting at all. And it's a shame because they could be. There are two issues with that side of the show. Number one, nothing either of those two characters ever do has any consequence on the main narrative at all. So anytime we jump over there, all it is distracting from the main storyline. I think for Ainsley at least, a better idea would have been to have her fall for someone that works in the oil business. This could cause friction between her and Tommy due to his background and knowledge. Maybe he sees what the devastating consequences of a relationship with someone in this field is like and how it affects their partner, and maybe that makes them come to blows with each other. Number two, their narrative is so insanely, tonally different from the rest of the series that you get whiplash when you flip back and forth between them. It's like you're watching an entirely different show. This is by far the weakest point of this series, and I hope it gets addressed in Season 2 if it gets renewed. All in all, I did enjoy Landman overall. It's a compelling yet pretty flawed addition to the Sheridan pantheon. It boasts some great ideas, some interesting storylines, and some fantastic performances and characters. But there are just giant portions of this show that just don't work cohesively with the main story that Sheridan is attempting to tell. I said it in my Yellowstone review, as good as Sheridan is, I think he's overworked. I mean, the guy has 6 original series under his belt and 4 are still going. I know Paramount wants as much original content as they can get, but maybe ease back on the guy a little bit. In Sheridan, it's fine to take a break. Whatever the issue is, I hope he figures out a solution soon because, as imperfect as this show is, I would love to see more of Tommy in the shitty situations that he always finds himself in.